Hi guys, you know what we're going to do today? Once again, we're going to use our new IOD frame mold. I know you're anxious, so let's get started.
So this is my frames mold, my IOD frames mold, and to do the project to make it look kind of 3D, we are going to use this large mold and this smaller mold right here. I'm going to put cornstarch in my mold. What I'm going to do with this really large one, I am just making a big long snake. And then I'm going to squish it in and go around. And this is the IOD air dry clay. This is what I'm using for this project. So this is the only one I'm doing, and it has an opening in the center. The rest you could do just like this. I use the whole frame, even the center, on these. So I'm going to carefully just bend my mold and let it come out. This larger one may have a tendency to want to stretch. So it seems like it's easier if I just carefully lay it and just go and pull the mold back as I'm going. And if you need to, you can always trim. It's easier to trim it very quickly while it's still soft. But otherwise, you can always sand it when it's dry. And then we are just going to let these set and get a little bit of a crust on them before we start working with them. So I'm gonna make a bee for this frame too. So I'm gonna real quickly put a little bit of cornstarch in my mold. And I'm using my air dry clay again. And we will just pop him out. What I'm gonna be doing is gluing this onto the front of this. I am just gonna cut this down the center. Trim this edge a little bit. Now my clay is completely dry, so I am going to use Type Bond Quick and Thick. This really does grab the best for clay. And I could have done it while it was still damp and it would have worked. This time I'm doing it while it's dry. I'm gonna put a nice layer of this on my box edge. Gonna hold that for a sec. So I am just gonna paint the inside of the box and the frame. And you can decide what colors you want. I'm just making it very monotone. So if your paint isn't flowing all the way into your areas, if you just water it down, it will flow very nicely into all the crevices that you've got in the mold. And I'm also gonna paint my small frame that I have here. I'll even start painting my bee, and then I'm gonna have to add another color. Okay, we're gonna let these guys dry. So I'm just gonna antique this. I'm not really gonna do a wash and rub it back. So I'm just using my Distress Oxide. I'm using Vintage Photo. And I'm rubbing it over the dry paint and over this frame also. And then if you use your water, it moves your distressing ink. And it can be as dark or as light, just however you would like it. Actually, you could use different colored distressing inks and do this in different colors. Okay, I'm going to glue this frame in. And then afterward, what I did was I'm going to put the bee on here, but I wanted the word kind. So I used my kind disregard stamps and stamped the word kind, and I'm gonna cut that out and glue that in here. But depending on what saying or what images or whatever you're doing, you can add that in and just find some fun typography that you like. So you can see I do have some ridges and bumps down here, so I'm gonna have to add a little extra glue. This is one thing, is if you do them while they're wet and glue them in, they really conform well to what you're putting them into. Let's finish painting up the bee and we'll get him glued in there. So I'm just putting a little gold paint on here, but you can use whatever colors you would like. Just let that dry. So this is dried. I'm just gonna rub it back. Okay, I am gonna glue my bee onto my frame, and then I am going to wax this. Then we're just gonna put some wax on this. And you could add any type of highlights or colors you would like. So I'm just using some of this gold wax and I'm putting it over the raised edges. I'm just using a liquid sealer. Okay, Let's let this dry.
So this is another fun way to use these frame molds that you could make shadow boxes and 3D type images over any type of a carton or a small box. So I hope you guys give this a try, but whatever you do, have fun.